Now you should be able to see my screen as well.
Yes, yes.
Great. Okay. So in a previous session, we were talking about how do we set up the TypeScript environment? How do we generally set up the TypeScript environment? And how do we also like what are the prerequisites that we need in terms of working with TypeScript and JavaScript? So yesterday we had seen that if we have to work with JavaScript, we generally require a Node.js or editor, Node.js and editor to be installed in our system, whatever the system that you are working with. And in terms of working with TypeScript, we need an extra, which will be which we have to install a TypeScript over here. We have to install a TypeScript, and using the tsx command, we'll be able to run uh, either using a TSC or using a tsx command, we'll be able to run the TypeScript file. So what should be the command to run the file which we'll be writing using TypeScript? It's something like tsx and then path of the file. Okay, so this will be anyways, like we'll go through it in our session today. But these are basically basic details that we require in terms of working with TypeScript. And when you go for a Playwright, I'll also show you the Playwright installation. Though we'll not be using that, we'll be using later part in later part of our session. But I'll also show you like how do we install the Playwright and how easy it is in terms of setting up the Playwright environment. Okay, so let's first see Node.js and editor. Yesterday we have installed. If you have missed somehow, you can just watch it through a recorded session of our previous day, and you will be getting you will have like all the details over there. Second thing is one of our colleague yesterday, she was facing some kind of issues, did not get time to connect with. Probably I can connect. If you are in the session, I'll connect with you after our session. Second thing is, some people, not everyone, but some people will get one particular issues. Nowadays I have seen like few of the people have started getting some kind of issues at the time of running uh, running the script for the first time. Running the script for the first time. If you are facing something like node is not recognized as an internal or external, or if you have
found, I'm getting
module not found is entirely different. But if you're getting some permission issues kind of things, if you're getting some permission issues kind of things, then these are the two command that you can use one by one to fix this issue. I'm pretty sure like some of you will start getting this kind of issues as soon as you start running any kind of file. So I'm trying to share over here. So I've just shared these two commands inside our chat. Probably if any one of you are trying to get or getting permission issues, just try to use those two things and will be sorted out over there. Now, anyone is trying to speak anything? I'm sorry, I'm muting you over here. Okay. So here in this in this case today, we have like installed Node.js. We have also installed editor, and in our session today, we'll try to see how do we install TypeScript over here. So the third prerequisite to work with TypeScript is to install a TypeScript over here. I've also given the complete step-by-step overview over here. What are the things that we require is Node.js, Visual Studio Code, and a TypeScript compiler as well we require to work with. So to install TypeScript, we'll be using npm command. So yesterday, again, I was talking about npm, right? npm will automatically get installed along with Node. right? So what is npm is node packaging manager, which help us in that basically um, manage all the software, all the jars, all the packages that have been developed using Node.js or JavaScript. Second thing is, now going forward, this npm will help us in installing the jars, files, software, whatever we are trying to install, which have been developed using JavaScript or Node.js. Okay, so going forward, when we try to install TypeScript, when we try to install Playwright, we'll see that we'll take the help of npm command itself. Okay, so first thing, now that we required, yesterday we had created a new window over here. We have opened a new window over here, right? So uh, again, like once we start writing the code, we need a place inside our local system to store all the codes, whatever the code that we'll be writing in our courses, right? So for that, there are two ways in which we can do. One, what you can do is you can create a folder inside your local system wherever you would like to create. You can create and then click on this open folder and navigate to wherever you have created the folder and select the folder. So this is simple things. You have to create a folder to store all your codes that you will be writing in our courses. For that, what I'll do is I'll create a folder over here inside my system, which I'll give the name as let's say I'll create a folder over here, which I'll give the name as TypeScript. And then inside this TypeScript folder, I'll create another folder. As it is easier for you people, you can create your folder inside your system. So inside this, I'll just give the name as March 2025 TypeScript. Okay, some identification I have given so that I can identify where what kind of uh, project that I have used over here. Because if you see, like there are a lot many things. So just to identify our batch, I have just given a March 2025 over here, and that you can see like as soon as we have opened the folder, it has displayed over here March 2025 TS. Now you see in this case, there is nothing available because this is an empty folder. We have not created anything inside this particular folder. Okay. Um, now, what we require in terms of working with TypeScript over here, we have to install a TypeScript. For that, you can also refer this particular document, which I'll share you after our today's session. For this, you can simply write a command known as npm. Whenever you try to install any software, any packages, any jars, which have been developed using JavaScript or Node.js, the simple command will be npm install and whatever you are trying to install. npm, that means you are saying node packaging manager, install inside my local system. What kind of installation that you have to do is whatever you would like to install over here, either a TypeScript or any other things. Okay.
Praveen, what does the G stands for? I mean,
Right. I'll come to that. I'll come to that. So whenever you would like to install anything which have been developed using JavaScript or Node.js, you can simply use npm install and then TypeScript. Let's say, for example, TypeScript. In your case, let's say if something else that you are trying to install, then you can give that particular name over here. Now, -G stands for global. -G stands for global. Now, what is meant by that is whenever you try to create, see this is the folder that we have created right now. I'll just create one file. Do not worry, I'll delete this and we'll create it again from that. And let's say as let I colon number I colon number equals to 40, and then console.log array. Okay, so what I've done is I have just declared a variable. We'll go through in detail from our next session, like how do we declare a variable, what are different data types, and so on in complete details. Okay, and what I'm trying to do is, see, this is a fresh folder that I've created. I did not even install TypeScript over here, right? But if I try to run tsx and then give the path of the file, which is, you see, this is giving us some kind of result, right? How does it giving us some kind of result is because at the first time when I installed this TypeScript, I had used -g over here. -g stands for global. -g or -g stands for global over here. That means when you install TypeScript by or anything, when you install any other software or TypeScript or any other things by also using -g, that means it will install globally inside your system. From next time onwards, whenever you try to create a new project, you do not have to again install TypeScript over there. As you can see in this case, we did not install TypeScript right now, but it is still able to identify that we have created a TypeScript file, and it was able to return us the value by using tsx command itself. Because earlier when I installed in my system, I used -g. -g stands for global. Okay. So now, what is our first thing that we are trying to do? We have to install TypeScript, right? So what is the command for that? The command is npm install -g and then TypeScript. Do not worry,
Praveen,
all these.
uh,
Mhm.
sometimes we use Yarn to install the node packages also. What's the fundamental
Yeah,
difference between NPM
there
and
are
Yarn?
different things. There are different things that you can utilize inside MacBook.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there'll be different things. There'll be a sudo in terms of a MacBook. So when you work with Mac operating system, there'll be a lot of other things, lot of different commands will be there. But
All right.
standard command to install any of the jars or software that have been developed using JavaScript is an npm, because npm manages all those softwares.
Is there any benefit of using Yarn over NPM?
Nothing such. Every command that you use will just install your system, install your software, whatever the software or jars that you are trying to install.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Praveen, one question. So once after the downloading, like installing this TypeScript, so do we need to restart that Visual Studio or it's not required?
It's not required.
It's not required, right? Because after
Right.
like the way you told, like I try to install, it's even installed also, but when I try to execute that tsx test.ts that command, it's throwing some error, but the tsc is working fine. So that's why I just want to check.
Right. And what is the error that it is throwing?
It says like the term tsx is not recognized as the
Right
name
now,
of the CMD.
TSC will work.
TSC is working
Right.
fine. Yes.
Definitely. So TSC will work for you right now because you have installed TypeScript. So TSC will automatically be installed. What
Okay.
I discussed yesterday that one of our colleague has asked what is difference between TSC and TSX, right? So TSX you have to specifically install. TSC
Okay.
will automatically come along with the TypeScript itself.
No, that's what my question. So after installing Playwright that command, then also we need to again separately we have to install TSX. Is it so?
Right. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay,
So by
fine.
default,
Thank
TSC will be installed, but uh, to compile our TypeScript command internally without creating or without adding any JavaScript file, we have to use TSX. And if we have to use TSX, then we have to install that separately.
you. Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So here I'll just type this npm install -g and then TypeScript. And we'll see that
I
within
know
few
that
seconds, depending on your internet speed.
TSX, it's saying a command not found for me. Error.
Yeah, right. Just wait for a couple of minutes, and then I'll show you why it is happening. Okay, just bear with me. For this week, I have pretty bad internet over here. So depending on the internet speed, it will not take more than 5 seconds to 30 seconds.
Hi Praveen, one quick
Somehow it
question.
is. Yes.
Yeah, so is it necessary to install TSX? Because I think I have done the setup few days ago. I don't think so. I have installed this TSX. But apart from that, I have installed Playwright along with the JavaScript.
So in terms of JavaScript, we do not require TSX.
Okay.
Only for TypeScript, we need TSX.
Okay.
Okay. So as I said earlier, like depending on the internet speed, it generally do not take like 5 seconds or 10 seconds of time, but for me, it has taken a minute time due to pretty bad internet. So now you can see that it says changed one package.
I just did the npm install hyphen-g TypeScript and later tsx test.ts and I got the result.
Right, because you might have installed it earlier as well.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So what we have done over here is we have just installed a TypeScript. So along with the TypeScript, TSC will also appear over here. Along with the TypeScript, the TSC will also appear. So what is the use of TSC? If you just give a TSC and then path of the file that you have created over here, which is test.ts, it will compile this particular TypeScript file and have created a similar JavaScript file over here. Okay, you can see like test.js. That is what the use of TSC. It will compile the TypeScript into a JavaScript. But if you do not want to, want to compile manually and then add this JavaScript file over here, at that point of time, you have to use TSX over here. Now to work with TSX, we also have to install TSX inside our system. We also have to install TSX inside our system. Install TSX module. If you want to run TypeScript code directly on Node.js without pre-compiling, you can use TSX module. To install the TSX module globally, you can simply use -g over here, and then TSX will be installed inside your system, and that will be basically available inside your system for even if you create any kind of new project. So that will be automatically available inside your system, inside your project. Okay. So now whoever were getting some kind of issues for TSX, now it will resolve by installing this TSX module. So we also have to install a TSX module. How do we install this TSX module? By again writing a simple command, which is npm install -g for globally available inside our system, and then just give a TSX over here. TSX stands for TypeScript executed. Okay. Again, it will not take much time, probably 5 seconds of time to install it completely. And then the TSX will be available inside your system as well. So what you can do is, whoever is trying to install right now, you can just try to install it and see whether TSX is working or not.
Praveen, first we need to install TSC and TSX, and then we need to install TypeScript.
No, first you have to install TypeScript. Okay, so the step-by-step procedure is this one. First, Node.js, second, editor, and third, TypeScript. How do we install TypeScript? By using npm install -g and then TypeScript. Okay, and after that, you have to install TSX. you do not have to install TSC, because TSC will automatically be available inside our system after installation of TypeScript. Any confusion for this particular installation?
So,
When
so
I
Praveen,
am building a new
oh,
machine, I got the execution policy issue. I tried the command that you have shared. It didn't work, but after adding a space over here, it worked. I'm just sending the command here.
Right.
Uh,
Right. We have to
there's a space
add
missing.
a space there. Right. You're right. You're right. That might have been copied over there, so we have to add the space after policy. Right. Okay. So Satish, this command that I had shared earlier is for some people will get some kind of policy issues inside their system at the time of execution. So that is why that command is that I've shared over here. By just typing those command and hit enter, will give you the permission to run any kind of script inside your system. Okay, so the
Praveen,
fourth step is to
sorry to interrupt you. One quick question.
No
Yeah,
worries.
you are inserting into the editor terminal the page. Is it fine? We can also put this command into the Node.js, the compiler, or it should be into the terminal only.
Anywhere. You can also use your command prompt as well, like command line, what is known as command prompt or terminal. You can also use that.
Okay. Okay, it won't make any difference, right? Whatever the commands we are applying.
No, it will
Okay.
not make any difference.
Okay, thank you.
So what is the
But
command for installing Node.js on Mac machine inside the terminal?
similar things, same command. There is no difference at all in terms of any operating system.
So can you let me know the command? So I have just started the task.
So which command you are talking about?
Can you explain from first? So what is the process to install this TypeScript?
Okay, so purpose for installing this TypeScript is so that whenever we try to write any code by using TypeScript language inside your system, it will be able to identify that you have written the code in a TypeScript. If you do not install TypeScript, that means it will just be a normal in plain English language kind of things that will be writing the code, and it will not be able to identify by your editor that what kind of language that you have used. Okay, so it is similar to, let's say, when you start working with Java. For example, I'm talking about when you start working with Java, why do we install Java? Why do we install JDK app should be available inside our system? In the same way, when you try to work with any of the programming language, not only with TypeScript or Java or any specific things, we need to have that particular jar. That means, what is programming language? Programming language is basically a jar, like a jar file. So that jar file we have to install inside our system, so that whenever we try to write the code by using that particular programming language, it will automatically be able to identify that what kind of language that we have used. Okay, that is the main purpose of installing TypeScript over here. Does it answer your question? Does it answer your question, or still you have any doubt?
So first we need to install the Node.js, right?
Right. So the step is this one. First, you have to install Node.js. Second, any kind of editor that you can install. Third, we have to install TypeScript. And fourth, if you do not want to compile and if you basically want TypeScript to be internally converted into a JavaScript and then run that particular code automatically, then you also have to install TSX over here. So these are the 4 steps that we
Okay,
have
so
to
I'm
follow.
using the Visual Studio editor. So for installing the Node.js, what is the command I need to run?
Okay, I'm so sorry, but is this your first session, Shrikant?
No, so I was so this is my third session, but I lost my internet connection,
No
so I
worries.
was unable to join.
No worries. No worries. No worries. So to install Node.js, you have to go to any of the browser and search for Node.js download. This is irrespective of any operating system that you would like to use. Go to any browser, just search for Node.js download, and then click on this download node.js. This will take you to this particular page. And then on that particular page, you can click on, depending on your operating system, it will display .msi file or any other file inside your. You have to click on this, and then it will basically download one Node.js, which will be again a software that will install inside your system.
Okay.
Okay. So on that particular software or window, you have to click multiple times next, and at the end you have to click install.
Okay.
Okay. After that, it will install the Node.js inside your system.
Okay. So to verify whether it has been installed, in term. Sorry. Well.
Right. So to verify that whether they have been installed or not, you can go to a terminal. You can simply go to a terminal and then click on type node space -- version. And this will return you the latest version that have been installed inside your system.
Okay.
And after that, you have to install Visual Studio Code. If you have already installed, that is well and good. And then you can go to your Visual Studio Code, create a folder wherever you want to store your code. You can create a folder. Inside this folder, you can again go to the terminal. There are 3 ways. I'll anyways discuss this, but there are 3 ways you can open a terminal inside the Visual Studio Code. One way is you can see a cancel icon over here. You can click on this and then from here go to the terminal. Second way is go to view menu option and then click on terminal over here. This will also open the terminal. And third way is you can see this 3 dots, and from there also you can click on terminal and this will open the terminal directly. And from this terminal, you have to type the command, which is npm install -g TypeScript npm space install space -TypeScript to install the type. Install space -c space tsx command to install the tsx. Okay. Right. These are the 4 steps that we have to follow in terms of installation. Okay, fine. Okay. Now earlier we had seen when we did a tsc test.tsc, it has also added one particular file over here, which was test.js. That means the TypeScript file have been compiled into a JavaScript. But if you do not want those kind of compilation, then you can simply use tsx space test.ts. And now you will see this time that it will not add, it has not added any JavaScript file, and it has returned us the value, whatever the value that we have written inside this particular file. Okay, so this is generally why we need TSX to be installed in our system to run your TypeScript code directly without compilation, not without compilation, but compiling that internally so that it will not create any JavaScript file.
Praveen, once we started the automation, the command to run the tests are still the same, or it will be going to change?
Everything will be same. And whatever the command that you have to use, I've given inside our documents as well. So if you see inside this document, you will find all those commands, whatever the command that we have to use over here. So to install the Playwright, what we have to use, how do we install Node.js, Visual Studio Code, everything I have given it over here. And in terms of TypeScript, whatever the installation that you have to do, you'll get inside this TypeScript tutorial document.
Yeah, how we can get this document, Praveen? Is it in some OneDrive or somewhere it's been shared?
Right. So this have not been shared yet with you people. For that, we require your email address. And once we get your email address, we'll be sharing you the access of a drive folder where we have stored all the files that we are trying to refer inside our session. Okay, and that
Yeah,
usually you'll get after the third session.
Okay. I believe, yesterday a couple of people have shared their email ID and contact number.
Right. So once again, you will require to share your email. So that will have your email address officially and will share you the access. For that, again, the team will contact with you people. Or
Okay.
either I will contact or team will contact with you people to share the email address. Okay.
Okay, understood.
So got it. Right. So that's basically the installation of TSX that we have done. So to work with TypeScript, there is nothing else that we require in terms of prerequisite to have inside our system. Now let's talk a simple things over here about now you like most of you might be wondering like, okay, JavaScript is also there, TypeScript is also there. So what is the basic difference between JavaScript and TypeScript? So let's see a basic difference
Sorry
over
to
here.
interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. I have really a very quick question. So actually, in my current company, I recently changed company, and in my current company, they are using TypeScript with Playwright. So whenever they are running any test case, they will run with command npx playwright test.
Right. Do not worry. Do not worry. That is the command for running Playwright test cases.
Okay. This is to
Okay.
run the TypeScript.
This is, we are still in the JavaScript TypeScript itself.
Okay.
So npx playwright test that you are talking about, the command is to run the playwright test case. Okay, and that you will run, that you will learn anyways, like going forward. So if I just show you like this kind of command, you are talking about that we have written over here, npx playwright test, npx playwright test, some kind of other things and so on, right?
Correct.
This will be utilized for running playwright test cases.
Okay, got it. Actually, I don't have like even like very basic knowledge of TypeScript
No
with
worries, no
Playwright.
worries.
Thank you.
No worries. Understood. That's fine. Okay. Now let's see a simple difference today in our session today. That what is the simple
Praveen,
difference? Yes.
whenever you execute a tsx test.ts, it's showing test results. But whenever you're executing tsc with the test.ts, it's compiling. But when can it show the test results?
So I think we have used this in our previous session, but let's see once again. I anyways wanted to show you this after this, but let's see what happens. So when you see when you type something known as tsc and then let's say test.ts, what happens in generally, it will compile your TypeScript code into a JavaScript code. And now if you have to execute and if you have to get the result, you have to run this JavaScript file that it has created over here. So you have to run this JavaScript file by saying node space file name that it has created over here, which is test.js. And then it will return us. This is a bit tedious process where you have to type 2 commands, and that is where it has simplified by using tsx command.
Hello.
Okay, Praveen, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Praveen, I'm trying to run a tsx space test TS, then I'm getting unauthorized access error.
Right. For that, you can use this particular command that I've shared inside our system.
Yes.
This one, this particular command.
Okay,
Okay, I'm
so
just again
in
sharing
command
it
prompt,
over
right?
in command prompt. Yes.
Okay. Let me try it out. Thank you.
Right. I think Satish has said everything over here, so you can just follow that and it will help you. Thanks, Satish, for sharing that step by step. Okay, now let's see simple things, simple difference in our session today. Like, what is the difference between JavaScript and TypeScript? So what we have created is, you have created a test.ts over here, and we have also created a test.js. Anyways, this have been automatically created, but let's create one known as, let's say, javascript.js. Okay, and inside this, I'll simply say it as, let's say, let a equals to 50, and then console.log a. So both of the things that you see over here, do not worry. These two commands will go in detail in our next session once we start variable. Okay, so this is basically a declaration of a variable, one type of declaration of a variable in JavaScript, and similar things are there in terms of a TypeScript as well. Okay, if you just remove this, what is the things that I have given over here is let is a keyword which help us in which basically help us in declaration of a variable. So the syntax of declaration of a variable is, syntax means the rule that we have to follow to declare a variable is something which is either you can use let or const keyword, then variable name equals to value. Okay, and in terms of TypeScript, it also says that you can also declare a data type as well by putting it out over here, colon, and then data type. Okay, this is the syntax for TypeScript. And for declaration of a variable in terms of a JavaScript, we have a syntax known as simple. We do not require colon and data type over there. The difference between JavaScript and TypeScript is JavaScript is a dynamically programming language. What is meant by dynamic programming language? That means whenever you try to do some kind of error, let's say you have done some kind of error inside your code, dynamically typed programming language will not tell you that, that means it will not inform you at the time of writing the code that you have done a mistake. Whereas statically typed language, which is TypeScript, Java, .NET, and so on, will basically alarm you that you have done some kind of mistake inside your code. So that is basically the difference between statically typed language and dynamically typed language. Statically typed language will, at the time of compilation itself, that means at the time of writing the code itself, will let you know that you have done some kind of mistake, or it will identify the error. And dynamically typed language will basically identify the error at the time of executing your code, at the time of running your code. That is the major difference between dynamically typed language and statically typed language. JavaScript is a dynamically typed language which will identify the error at the time of execution of your code. TypeScript is a statically typed language which will identify the error at the time of writing the code itself. Okay. Now what I mean to say is, let's see a simple difference. So one difference that you have just seen that you can also add a data type for a variable. You can also add a data type for a variable in terms of TypeScript, whereas JavaScript does not allow you to write a data type for a specific variable. Now you might be wondering, okay, what is that example? And then I'll come to the second point. So I have given, what I have done is I have done over here, let I equals to 40. That means I've said that this variable which I have declared over here, I am trying to store a numeric value itself. only the numerical value. Now in the next line, I am trying to do, let's say I equals to something, which is Rahul. Okay. Example, some string value I have declared over here, and now it is throwing us an error saying that type string is not assignable to a type number. What it is saying is, that means you have done a mistake, that you have declared a variable which should only accept a number, but now you are trying to store a variable, a value for this particular variable as a string. Okay, so this has given us an error over here, but there are like different ways which we'll go through in our session. If you just say it as any, the error will go off. I'll talk about any in probably other session, but just wanted to make you understand that this is the restriction that TypeScript has given us. This is the restriction, this is the flexibility that TypeScript has given us, that you can define a variable of a specific type as well. And whenever you try to do a mistake, this will identify at the time of writing the code itself. Okay, this is one thing. In terms of JavaScript, we do not have to write any data type. So anything you can store it inside the JavaScript. You can just say it as a equals to Rahul, and this will allow us, if you just try to print this by saying node space javascript.js file, to run a .js file, we just have to type node space path of the file. And you can see that it has returned us Rahul over here. But in this case, it is throwing us an error because we have made I as a numeric itself. Okay, so this is allowed. This is one difference that we have in terms of JavaScript and TypeScript. Now, let's say second things. What I have declared is let I equals to 40. Now I'm trying to print something, let's say P over here. Okay, something P over here. And it is throwing us an error saying that cannot find name P. That means it is saying that I did not find inside your file that you have declared P at any places. Okay, so it has identified the error that we have, or the mistake that we have done, or some kind of error that we have inside our file. Let's do the similar thing in terms of TypeScript, in terms of JavaScript. I'm just saying it as console.log P. It is not throwing us any kind of error. Why it is not throwing us? Because this is a dynamically typed language, and this will, at the time of execution, it will try to find, do we have any P available inside this particular file? And this is the major difference that we have in terms of JavaScript and TypeScript. And that is why most of the people and organization nowadays are moving towards TypeScript, because TypeScript help us to identify the error at the time of writing the code itself. Okay, now let's see what happens.
So,
here
so JavaScript will give undefined, right? Because we have not declared P as a variable initialized.
You can just try to run this, and you'll see like what kind of error that it is throwing us. It is node space file of name path of the file. So node space.js, and it is saying P is not defined. It is saying P is not defined. Undefined, Kavita, that you are talking about is entirely different things. Undefined is something that you have declared a variable, but you have not assigned any value. And now if you try to print this particular things, that will give us undefined. Undefined means you have declared a variable, but you have not assigned any value.
But we have not assigned any values.
Right. Okay, so in this case, if you see, this is throwing us an error at the time of execution of the code, which it is saying as similar error that it has thrown at the time of writing the code itself, saying that P is not defined. That means cannot find name P over. And this is the major difference that we have in terms of JavaScript and TypeScript. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, Praveen. Praveen, one thing here, like when you're running this JavaScript file, so you're doing this node and JavaScript.js. So are we not compiling in this case? Like TSC, we are not giving?
No, in terms of a JavaScript, we do not require TSC. So, okay, so you might got confused over here. So let's see. see what happens. So whenever you install Node.js, right? So what is Node.js? So Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment. Whenever you have to run the JavaScript file, you have to run it with Node, because Node.js that we have installed basically help us in running the JavaScript file, running the code that we have written in terms of JavaScript. If you see the definition of Node over here, Node.js is an open source, cross-platform, backend JavaScript runtime environment that runs on some engine and execute JavaScript code. It is saying JavaScript code, not TypeScript code. It's saying JavaScript code. So whenever we write in .js file, to run or to execute that .js file, we have to use a command known as node space and then node space and path of the file. Node space path of the file to run JS file. And to execute TypeScript, you can use tsx and then path of the file. Yes, please go ahead.
So Praveen, while assigning a numeric value, do we need to require a number keyword also? To the number is keyword here or what? While you have assigned a numeric
number
value,
is a data type. Number is a data type.
Okay.
Okay.
So
This is not
can't you
mandatory.
assign directly I equals to
This
40?
is not mandatory, right?
Okay.
This is not mandatory at all. There is something known as type inference. When we see a topic known as type inference means whatever, even if you do not mention the data type over here, it will automatically identify what kind of data that we have stored over here. So you can see it is automatically identifying that we have stored a value which is of a data type number. That is known as type inference. Type inference is a concept in TypeScript. It will also identify that you have declared so and so data type automatically. And still, so if you try to add,
this concept is not there in JavaScript, or is it?
JavaScript does not require to use a data type to declare a variable.
Okay.
Okay. In terms of TypeScript, still that you have declared a 40, but still if you would like to assign any other data type values, it will throw us an error saying that you have declared a variable which accepts only numeric value, but you are trying to assign again a string variable over here, string value over here. So again, that will throw us an error saying that type string is not assignable to a type number. Anyways, like all these things will be discussed in detail.
Yeah, but Praveen, it's not mandatory to mention the data type in TypeScript. We can just leave it.
No.
Is it
Right,
mandatory?
right. It is not mandatory, even in terms of TypeScript, to declare the data type. So again, when you say like, if you type this, right? If you do not type this, let I equals to 40. That is what. If you see the document, what TypeScript says that TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. That means even a TypeScript code without type is a JavaScript code. TypeScript code without a data type is a JavaScript code. So if you see this one, this is a complete JavaScript code. This is complete JavaScript code. This is TypeScript as well as 100% JavaScript code. How do you know that this is JavaScript code? Let's see an example over here. So I just said that I've removed data type from here, and now I'm saying that this code that we have written is also 100% JavaScript. How do I know that? Or how do we basically confirm this? Let's say I'll just say it as node test.ts. What did I do over here is I've just said node test.ts. Node will help us in running the JavaScript code, not TypeScript code. Okay, and now I have said that test.ts. Because it does not have any data type mentioned over here, so it considered the file as a JavaScript file. And it has returned us a value, whatever the value it was. Now you mention over here something known as number. And now try to do the similar things. And it is saying unexpected token because Node is not able to identify that whatever the code that you have written over here, Node is basically not able to identify. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you remove,
but even though it's a JavaScript file, like for example, even if you don't mention the number, it because the extension is TS, it will not accept I as a different like string or something like that. Can we try that? Because you take out the number, the data, yeah, this one, and you try to assign. Yeah, this doesn't work, right? So it's a TypeScript.
Right.
Because we have.
Right. This will not work.
Yeah.
Definitely, this will not work because you have given an extension as .ts.
Yeah. So for that reason, yes, I got it. Thanks, bro.
Right. Right. So with this particular code I was talking about, with only this particular code I was talking about, this is also a complete JavaScript file as well. And that is where we had seen that at the time of running with node space ts.ts, it has returned the value over here. But if you assign number at that point of time, we have got unexpected token, which is colon, because node were not able to identify what is that colon that we have written over here at this particular line. And this is the major difference that we have in terms of JavaScript and TypeScript.
Praveen, here we can run like npx playwright test. We can use that also, right? In the command, right?
No, npx playwright test is to run the playwright test case itself.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'll just move to the next thing. I'll take your question after 5 minutes. I promised you that I'll show you that how do we install the playwright, right? So let me remove something from here and also from here. I'm just cleaning up the folder. This is the folder that we have created, which currently we do not have anything. Okay, and now we are also trying to install playwright. So let's see, though we'll not be using right now, we'll be using in the later part of our session, but let's see how do we install playwright over here. How do we install the playwright? As we have already installed Node.js, we have already installed editor, we have also installed TypeScript part over here. And now we are trying to install playwright over here. So see, how do we install playwright? Installation of playwright is again pretty simple, which will not take more than 30 seconds of time. The command for that is npm, as the playwright have also been developed using JavaScript, init and playwright. Init stands for initialize. So we are saying over here that Node Packaging Manager initialize what? Playwright. Okay, so just go to your terminal, inside your folder, wherever you have created, go to your terminal and then type the command known as npm init and then playwright. Okay, npm init playwright and hit enter. Depending on your internet speed, you can see that it started creating some kind of things. And at the time of installation, it will ask you few questions. I'll not explain you in detail like what are the question that it is asking right now. When we go for a playwright session, at that point of time, I'll explain you in detail. So here it is asking to select the language, which is TypeScript. Where do you want to put your end-to-end test case? What is the significance of this? I'll explain you in the later part. For now, I'll just click on enter 3-4 times. And now you can see that within few seconds, depending on the internet speed, probably it will take like somewhere between 20 to 30 seconds to install complete setup of playwright. Now you can see like it has started adding some kind of file over here. Okay. At the end, once you get the message saying that happy hacking, once you get the message on your terminal saying that happy hacking, that means playwright installation have been completed successfully. My internet is very bad over here, and that's where it is taking some time. It will take some time for me due to the internet issues. but everything have been installed over here. At the end of the installation, you will get a message known as happy hacking. That's it. Now it is trying to install some kind of things inside the Playwright itself. But this is what you will get as a folder in terms of Playwright. And this is what we require to work with Playwright over here. This is the complete setup, complete framework that we have created for Playwright. Apart from this, we do not have to do anything to install Playwright. You can simply start running the test case. It has also given few sample example over here that you can try to run with by using a command known as npx playwright test, and it will start running these two test cases that it has given over here inside this test folder. Okay, for me it will take some time because of internet issues, but probably for you people, if you tried installing the Playwright, might have been installed. Okay, so this is what the setup of the Playwright that we required. Even we'll see this kind of things at the time of going through with the Playwright session as well. Okay, so that's about it for our session today. That I wanted to show you, like, how do we install different kind of things. And again, I'll go back to you people for any kind of questions that you have.
Praveen, one question. So is it like every time, suppose we have to start a new project, we have to install this Playwright every time, or it is like one-time process? Suppose I'm creating a...
Right. Understood. So it is every time process that you have to do.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, Praveen, for mobile testing, which tool is best to like automate using the Playwright? As currently we are using like mobile automation, Playwright with TypeScripting.
Playwright with TypeScripting for mobile automation.
Yes.
So for mobile automation, the best one is still the APM, not the Playwright.
Okay. APM, right?
APM, right? Yes.
Anyway, that Playwright TypeScript, we can, that's just platform change only, no? Like we can
Is
use
it
that.
is it for mobile application or mobile browser specific?
Mobile application.
Playwright does not have a flexibility of supporting the Playwright like mobile application right now.
Okay.
So Playwright will not help you to do a mobile automation.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, Praveen.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So Praveen, just one question, like we are installing it on global level, so we are mentioning -G. So that means that for like, for example, if we have created multiple folders, for example 9 to 10 folders we have created, so we have to install Playwright and TypeScript every time. We have to give this commands for each and every folder which we create.
So TypeScript, not every time. Every time you'll have to do. Playwright will be.
Sorry, Praveen, you're breaking.
Globally available as
well. Sorry, Praveen, can you please repeat?
So what I was saying is, am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible.
So TypeScript can be globally available. TypeScript can be globally available as well, whereas Playwright will be specifically for one particular project or folder.
Okay. So Playwright we have to install every time if we create multiple folders.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And one more thing, Praveen, like if it is just a JavaScript file for running that project, for running that file, we have to only give this command node and then file.js. And for TypeScript, there are two options, either TSC and then node, or it is TSX. Am I correct?
Right. Right. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Actually, under a same folder, I created one JavaScript JS file and one TypeScript.ts file. And in JavaScript file, I written let I is equal to 10. If I'm using let I colon number 10 in the TypeScript, it is giving me an error that cannot redeclare the blocked scope variable I.
Then that is fine. That is fine. It is just a warning that TypeScript is giving, TypeScript is throwing, because as we earlier said that TypeScript will also be a JavaScript code. So it is just giving you a warning saying that you have already declared I. You have already declared I in another file. That is why it is throwing us another. But that is just a warning over there.
But it is the JavaScript file, right? Like it's not a TypeScript file, but why it is still taking?
That is what I'm trying to say. So what happened ultimately is when you try to run this TypeScript file, what happened internally is that TypeScript file will also be converted into a JavaScript file, right? So inside the JavaScript file, you have already declared I, and that is why it is saying that there is a duplication of I that you have declared. But if you try to run that particular .ts file, it will run in a proper way. It will give you the result. It will not show you any kind of error. That is just a warning that we have whenever we put like .js and .ts file inside a folder.
Suppose if you consider the real-time scenario, under a folder, we have multiple folders. Suppose, let's say under a new folder, we will be having A to B. So, and in A folder, we have set of files and same wise goes for B and C as well. Suppose if I'm using some I in A folder, can I use the same thing in B or C?
Yes.
Means
yes.
it should be, okay. It should
Yes,
not be
yes.
under the same module. That's it, right?
Right. You should be able to use inside any other. Even inside the same folder also you will be able to use, but it will just throw you a warning saying that you have already declared.
Okay.
Okay.
So Praveen, which one is
Yes.
recommended? We should use TSC or TSX? Which one is recommended?
TSX is recommended because it will not add any unnecessary file inside your system, as well as it will pre-compile the file that you have written in TypeScript. That means it will internally compile the file. So TSX is recommended over here.
So there is no advantage over addition for addition of any JS file, correct? As such.
Okay. Any other question from anyone else over here?
So TSX is an interpreter, right?
TSX is an interpreter, yes. Okay. So if no questions, then thanks a lot everyone for joining, and we'll again continue in the next session with some other topic, and we'll start with a real session where we'll go through with our day one session, which will start with the TypeScript concept. Okay. Thanks a lot everyone for joining, and we'll continue in the next session. I believe someone was facing an issue yesterday. If you are available, you can stay back, and others feel free to drop. I'm so sorry, forgot the name of the person who was there. Okay, if you're not available, then that's okay. Thanks a lot everyone for joining, and then we'll continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.